Hey guys, this is Tania from Art Zone, and in this video I want to specifically talk to the single moms that are artists but don't know exactly how to squeeze in their art stuff or their art business related things to do in their already hectic schedule. So I want to share with you 5 tips of how I managed to do that. And if you would like more videos like this, or if you have a question, make sure you subscribe and put your question in the comment below. So let's get started. For my tip number 1, I want to make sure and stress that you prep for the entire week if you get a chance to. So for example, today is Sunday. I will be getting all of my canvases primed and sketched out. If I have the time to start painting, then I will. But for the most part today, that is not my goal. My goal is prep the canvases and sketch everything out. So like that, I already have that ready for the week in order for me to just go ahead and be able to paint. If you have other aspects, for example, your crafts, make sure you have all of your supplies ready, have everything set up for you. So all you got to do is sit down and you're not wasting time trying to gather all the supplies. I've been fortunate enough that in this house that I'm in, I have a section for my painting and a section for my crafts. But I know that's not always the case, and it hasn't always been the case for me. Right now it is. So I go ahead and I have all of my stuff ready for the week. So like that, when I am ready to go ahead and sit down and paint, I don't have to worry about doing anything else other than paint. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is my time. So is your art stuff important to you? Yes, I'm assuming that's the answer. Then you have to make sure that you give it its priority that it deserves. So you have to set time. I don't care if it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes. If you have an hour, great. But every day of the week, you want to make sure that you set yourself some time for that. I myself, I'm a single mom of 2. I'm a full-time nurse, and I'm also an artist. So every day consists of, or at least Monday through Friday, which are my most hectic days, get the kids ready, take them to school, take myself to work on time, hopefully. And then once I get home, food is prepped. If I already prepped them the day before, I'll maybe sometimes cook for 2 days in a row. Then like that, they already have their food. Make sure you bathe them. Make sure you set them to do their homework or whatever it is they have to do. And you say, okay, at 8 o'clock today, or 8 o'clock every night, I'm going to go ahead and paint or draw or sketch or craft for at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And sometimes it actually stretches. Oh, you know what? I may have a full hour to work on it today. But you want to make sure that you set aside time for your craft. Okay, so that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is the kids. So the thing about it is that when your kids are smaller, then yes, it's a little tougher. I'm not going to lie. But even then, you want to make sure that you are communicating with your kids. I myself do not talk to my children like they are children. So for example, hey guys, today I am recording a video. I need you guys to go to your room, play or whatever it may be for at least 30 minutes. Cool. Do they listen to me all the time? No, it gets frustrating, I know. But for the most part, I have that communication line open. So like that, they are getting used to, hey, mom is doing this, or mom is painting, or mom is drawing. And if nothing else, you can always try to involve them. There are times when we all sit down, we have the table out. I give each one of them a canvas. I have my canvas, they have their paints, and they get to create at the same time that I'm creating, and you get involved. At the same time, you are teaching them something, you're educating them, you are showing them and teaching them dedication, and also trying to get, pique their interest when it comes to their art stuff. And like I said, kids will be kids, so it doesn't work perfect all the time. And I know it's very hard, but like that, they feel involved. They don't feel neglected. They don't feel like they're being pushed to the side. You always want to make sure you keep them in the loop. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4, I probably should have put it before, but this is the best way that I can explain it. And it goes back to the time. When you order supplies, right, it is usually more beneficial to buy things in bulk so that you get more value for your money. It's the same thing for your time. Your time is very, very valuable. So you want to try to make sure that you do things in bulk as much as possible. So for example, if I'm recording videos, I'm going to make sure that I record multiple videos on that one day. If I am taking pictures for my social media, it's the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and take pictures, multiple pictures for more than one post. You want to try to get more done for the time that you are spending on it. This is why I prep. If I know I only have 20 minutes every single day of painting, then I want to make sure I get everything sketched out, everything done, everything is prepped. I don't have to worry about drying time. I don't have to worry about any of that. So make sure that you are doing everything in bulk. Maybe I'm not saying the right word, but I hope you guys understand, right? If I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to, I know I got to do that social media. There are plenty of apps. I myself use Planoly to make all of your posts for the week for your social media, and you can schedule them at different times. So like that, you don't have to worry about that, and you can go ahead and post them. But what I like to do, because the fact that you want to make sure that you're a little bit available to answer comments within a certain amount of time, especially for YouTube. I know that, okay, for my area, my morning post might work better at 7 o'clock in the morning and 6 or 7 or 8 o'clock at night when people are coming home from work and they finally sitting down and looking at their phone. And I know that I might get a little more activity, then I'll make sure I'll keep that in mind. Hey, I might want to be around my social media around those times when my posts are coming out. And that's just trying to utilize your time as wisely and as best as possible, especially when your time is very precious and you have very little of it, especially when it comes to the children. So that is my tip number 4. And tip number 5. You will hear me say this a lot in almost all of my blogs because I think it is very important, and that is carrying a notebook everywhere you go. I have a small notebook in my car. I have my notebook, actually, or your agenda book. It could be your sketchbook. There are agenda books that have both writing notebooks and sketch papers. But I carry this with me everywhere I go, and it's because you never know what ideas are going to come up regardless of where you're at. Also, it's a good time for me to plan. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I know there's a lot that I have to get done, especially if you have an event coming up, but you can't get your thoughts organized because it's so much. And then on top of the fact that if you're a mom and a single mom and everything is hectic, you got your stuff going on and your children's stuff going on. So you want to make sure you write it down. The simple act of writing those ideas down sometimes makes them more concrete in order for you to get them accomplished. Sometimes I might have one item in my to-do list that I didn't get accomplished today, and I will bring it forward to the next day's to-do list, and I will continue to do that until that goal gets accomplished. And things are not always perfect. I know some people like sticky notes. I lose the sticky notes, so that's not good for me. But at least with my notebook, and I try to feel excited about my notebook, and let me get a pretty color, and I'm gonna carry it, and just to kind of get me excited, and I write everything down. This is my to-do list. If I have any ideas for crafts, if I have any ideas for videos, everything will go into my notebook. And then when I feel stuck, or when I'm like, okay, I know I'm supposed to do something today, what is it that I have to do? And I'm sorry for my accent and my grammar. You know, the bad thing about being bilingual is the fact that I haven't mastered English, and I haven't mastered Spanish either. That sucks, right? But yes, so I make sure that I write everything down. Sometimes it's scrabbles. Sometimes I make little boxes so that I can go ahead and check them off. But try to be as organized as possible. It's more like a chaotic organization for me. But just try your best and stay consistent. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it is possible. And your kids, if anything else, will admire you if you stick to it, and if they actually see the fruits of it. Once they get older, and the older they get, they will go ahead and appreciate that. And an example that I can give you is a couple years ago, I used to own a dance studio. My daughter has been seeing me dancing since she was born, basically, and including my son. My son was actually in the belly while I was organizing an event, dancing around. They knew the studio. They knew my dance family. They were embracing it. They danced. They went to my events with me. It's not always easy, but they get to see that, and I promise you that later on they will appreciate it. I know sometimes as a parent you worry about neglecting your children or not giving them enough time, but if you include them as much as possible, they will understand, especially later on when they get older. So those are my 5 tips for single parents, single moms mainly, right? Single moms that are trying to get their art career going, and you're just unsure, but you got this, okay? And I have faith.